When you're looking to commission a fursuit, you're gonna want it to be worth the wait. I mean, why even bother dropping all that money on a personal sauna if you're not even gonna like how it looks? Hey everyone, I'm Soren, and today we'll be going over how to get the perfect fursuit, aka how to find the right fursuit maker for you. Now, this video is being made with the assumption that you're commissioning your fursuit to be made, but I will be covering all the other different ways you can get a fursuit in a future video. So subscribe and stay tuned if that's something you're interested in. I just wanted this to be its own video since there's quite a bit we're going to be covering today. After all, a fursuit is a pretty hefty investment, so you should definitely take your time in considering how you want it to look. But with that out of the way, let's get started. The first thing you'll need to consider before looking for fursuit makers is to know how much your budget is. You have to know how much money you have and how much you're willing to spend on a fursuit. For example, if you're looking to buy a full fursuit, even the cheapest ones are going to cost you at least $1,000, and can get up to around $5,000 or more. But if you want to buy just a partial fursuit, they'll still cost you around the $1,000 to $2,000 range, but they're considerably cheaper than a full suit. Prices all depend on the maker, so these aren't the exact prices you'll see everywhere, but it'll help you get a good idea of how much you should save up. Remember that fursuits are luxury goods, and should only be bought if you have enough money to afford one without sacrificing your essential needs. So if you're not in a financially stable position, I wouldn't recommend buying a fursuit just yet. And it's not like you need a fursuit to be a furry. If you're a young furry under 18 and don't have your own source of income yet, you could theoretically ask your parents to buy you one. But fursuits are really expensive, and your parents might not want you to buy something that you'd only occasionally wear for that much money. And you might end up growing out of it really soon if you haven't hit puberty yet. So for now, I'd recommend waiting on getting a fursuit. Anyway, once you find your budget and know exactly how much you'd be willing to spend on a fursuit, you're ready for the next step, which is to consider what kind of fursuit you want. There are many different varieties of fursuit types to go through, so I'm going to be giving a quick overview of all of them and their features. For starters, you can go and just commission a fursuit head. It's the simplest and cheapest of all the options, and the head of a fursuit is the most important part, since people are more likely to remember a face than a bodysuit or other features, and sometimes it's all people need to feel satisfied with getting a fursuit. If you want a little more than just a fursuit head, you could get a mini partial. A mini partial fursuit consists of the head, hand paws, and the tail. It's a small upgrade, but an upgrade nonetheless, since I'd argue that hand paws and tails are the second most important part of a fursuit. Next, you could go for a full partial. The definition of a full partial is a bit flexible and can depend on the maker, but all full partials always include a head, hand paws, feet paws, and a tail. Sometimes they'll come with arm sleeves and leg sleeves, but again, that's up to the maker. Half suits include two different kinds of fursuits, depending on if you choose the lower half or the upper half. They both include a head, hand paws, feet paws, and a tail, but a lower half suit will include the legs, while an upper half suit will cover your chest and torso area and include arm sleeves. Which one you choose is up to your personal preference. Like, do you prefer to wear shirts normally while fursuiting, or do you want more freedom for your legs? That's up to you to decide. A 3/4 suit is the closest you'll get to a full suit, without having to suffer the full effects of wearing a carpet in the sun for hours. A 3/4 suit covers everything except your chest and torso area, so you can wear shirts normally with your fursuit on, and so you have some way to vent out heat. And finally, we have the whole shebang, a full suit. A full fursuit covers your body from head to toe, and will completely transform you into your fursona, or as close as you can in the real world. But a major warning when it comes to full suits, be prepared for high prices and even higher temperatures when you're wearing it. By the way, when you're getting either a 3/4 suit or a full suit, you're gonna have to decide on what kind of legs you want to have. Basically, whether you want to have bent legs or unbent legs. There are three main types you'll have to choose from. The first one being plantigrade legs, which are unbent legs that give a more human appearance. These have no additional padding and just use your normal legs. The term plantigrade is used to describe mammals who walk fully on the soles of their feet, which is replicated with a plantigrade fursuit. The second one is digitigrade legs, where extra padding is included in the legs to make it seem like the fursuit is not walking on its heels. These make it look more accurate to the animal species, since most animals that people use as fursonas are digitigrade in nature. And the third one is
Ungulograde.
Yeah, that word. These are used to describe the legs of animals who have hooves, like deer or horses. In reality, they don't function too differently from normal footpaws in a fursuit, but dang it, just let me be scientifically accurate in this fandom for once. Anyway, these have all been the main types of fursuits to get, but there are a few specialty fursuits I'll be giving honorable mentions. The first ones are plush suits. Plush suits are fursuits that are made to look like giant stuffed animals. They're usually quite large and extremely soft. But a major drawback is that the wearer doesn't have any use of their fingers whatsoever, so these definitely require some outside help to get in and out of. The other ones are quad suits. Quad suits are made to look like an animal walking on all fours, and usually require the use of stilts. These are made to look more like a realistic animal, or if the owner is going for a more feral look. So that covers all the different types of fursuits that you can wear that are out there. But aside from that, there are still a few more things to consider. Now that you know exactly what kind of fursuit you're looking for, you need to know what style you want your fursuit to look like. A fursuit is a work of art, and just like all art, no style is exactly the same. Each fursuit maker has a different genre of style that they specialize in, so here's a few of them. The most common fursuit style you'll see around is no doubt the toonie style. Toonie style fursuits are made to have, you guessed it, a cartoony appearance. Next up are kimono fursuits. These are fursuits that are made with the kimono art style, meaning that they're made to look like Japanese anime characters. Their main feature is their large eyes, since that's what gives them their cutesy appearance. Realistic fursuits are exactly as the name implies. They're made to look as close to the real deal as possible. Things like the fur patterns and the eyes of these fursuits are the important features to mention, since they're what makes them look so realistic. You'll also need to consider what kinds of eyes your fursuit's gonna have. Fursuits with 2D eyes are usually seen with toonie-style fursuits because it adds to the cartoony flair. They're usually used to give the fursuit a more cute and friendly look. 3D eyes, or follow-me eyes, are eyes that are slightly indented into the head to give it a full 3D effect. They also got their name because it looks like the eyes are actually following you if the fursuiter were to look at you in different positions. And finally, there's use your own eyes fursuit heads. These are fursuit heads that let you use your own eyes to see out of, giving you the best vision out of all the options. Okay, I know I just dumped a ton of information on you, but it's all important to consider before commissioning a fursuit. You wouldn't want to regret some of the choices you made after you spent all that money, right? So once you know how much you can spend, what kind of fursuit you want, and what kind of style you want it in, do your best to find a fursuit maker that meets all those requirements, or comes close. When you're looking for fursuit makers, look at their previous work and see if your fursona would look good in that style, or if you want your fursona to be in that style. Some makers may lean towards certain style genres, but they can add any of their own handiwork to make a unique style all their own. Don't think of it as placing your fursuit into separate categories. It's more like an axes chart, with artists having styles somewhere in between. What's your favorite fursuit style? And if you plan on getting one, what kind would you want to have in the future? Let me know down in the comments below. But anyway, thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this video and want to see some more helpful furry content, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. But until next time, see ya!